All right.
Oh,
All right, guys. All right. All right.
yep. Let's go.
We're back again. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, getting you on the grind and improving your mind in every single video that we do. So, guys, make sure you smash that like button, help us out, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And without further ado, we're going to get into today's topic. We're going to be going into this video from Valuetainment featuring Patrick Bet David, who recently offered Tucker Carlson $100 million deal. You might have heard about that in the news. So we're going to check out this video and see what we can learn and analyze today for you guys. So let's
Pull it up.
into it.
Let's pull it up. So the video is why men live harder lives than women. I have this video linked in the description of the live. So if you want to actually watch it on your own, you are free to do that. But let's watch it all together and let's dissect it. So let's get to it right now.
Men live a harder life than women, and I got data here to show you. Now, obviously, this upsets a lot of different people saying, Pat, how could you say something like that? Blanket statement, men live a harder life than women? Yes. Brace for impact, whether you're going to like it or not. Wait till the end. If you do get value out of this, and he said this is kind of a good point he's making, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If not, go watch a different video. Okay, so let's get right into it. So based on a research done, DNA research by Dr. Baumeister, he explains that in today's human population,
Let's read that. Today's human population is descended from twice as many women as men. True.
So, I mean, I think that in history, a lot of guys did not reproduce, right? Because a lot of guys just couldn't. I mean, women are not looking to reproduce with every man, and a lot of guys are out there that are fighting. You know, throughout history, of course, have fought to reproduce, right? So today's human population is descended from twice as many women. So let's analyze that.
Yeah, let's let him explain it a little bit more so we can.
Yeah,
also...
let's see.
is descended from twice as many women as men. Now, what does this mean? In the history of mankind, 80% of women have reproduced and have had kids. Only 40% of men have ever.
Yeah. Right. So a lot of men. I mean, that's why it kind of correlates today. Like they say in the YouTube video podcasts and everything, and research done. Women want the top guys, right? So they want the top 20% out of 100 guys, maybe even 15 or 10 at this point, because you know Instagram changed the game.
Because you know inflation.
Yeah, and guys are just getting weaker by the day. But throughout history, you know, a lot of guys just have not reproduced. What most women have, because women are sought after sexually, right? They reproduce, like they are the ones who get pregnant. So naturally, they're going to be more inclined to have children. Where a lot of guys, they just fail. Same thing today. It's just different because like normalized times, like modern times, things are different now. But it's always kind of been this way throughout history. A lot of guys simply just were not able to smash. That's why today we see a lot of we see even more weak men not reproducing because they simply can't. So this is nothing new. This is history repeating itself. It's
just in different circumstances.
It's nature, right?
Yeah.
So. Reproduced. So 80% women, 40% men. What does this mean? That means 4 out of 5 women reproduce, only 2 out of 5 men reproduce. Now, why is this? So when we were looking at this thing here, we said, let's look at data. Let's look at some of the stuff that we have access to right now. It could be Tinder. And then let's look at what women look for in men in a short-term relationship and what women look for in men in long-term relationship. And then you get to make a decision for yourself on how to increase your market value. So according to Tinder, this is what you get on how many women swipe right versus how many men swipe right. If you've never been on Tinder, like I've never been on Tinder, swiping right means you're interested in this person. Swiping left is, I don't have any interest. When it comes down to men swipe right 53% of the time. That means they're interested. 47% of the time they say no.
I'm actually surprised it's that close.
Yeah, men usually just go, yeah, and they just like.
I've heard people that just say, yeah, no, I just swipe on everything and then I figure it out later. And I'm like, okay. I haven't really ever really needed to use Tinder.
There's like a lot of trans on Tinder now, and I'm not about that personally. So I have to actually be very careful when I'm swiping, because I don't want to swipe on trans. Like, hey, I was like, oh no, whoa, wait a minute. You know, I just don't want to, run into
so like this statistic is actually pretty interesting to me, because I would have never thought like this would have been for men. Like this would have been swiping right would have been so close to swiping left.
I'm not interested. However, for women, you ready? Ladies, this is you now. Okay, this represents your number according to Tinder. You ready? Women only swipe right 5% of the time.
Yeah.
95% of the time.
You basically already
Yeah,
knew
this to me this was basic knowledge. It just this it can if confirming it for me, it just makes it a lot
guys still
better.
have trouble understanding that women only go after a certain type of guy, and people are gonna cope and be like, well, that's because they only like good-looking men, and this is just online. It's based on photos, and most guys, even including me, I don't even have the best photos either. I got to get a photo shoot done. I acknowledge that. Yeah, I know, I'm very self-aware. A lot of guys just don't have good photos on Tinder or dating apps, and their photos are just unattractive. So women's like, eh. Only like certain type of guys with certain photos actually get all the swipes, which is all right. I think you can combat that by maybe meeting girls in real life. Maybe, just a thought. Actually
real life
go and
is great.
approach women at the grocery store or at the mall. Maybe not the gym, because that's time to build.
focus.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
time to
you
focus.
got to be in that. Like,
Yeah.
ShopRite's different.
You say, I am not interested, swipe left. A rejection to the man. So if you're a guy watching this and saying, Pat, I'm on these dating apps, and I got to tell you, this absolutely.
I also want to say, make sure you guys don't let these statistics make you, live
afraid
in fear.
No fear here. Just
Women are not scary,
Yeah.
and just because they're not swiping right on you doesn't mean they're swipe on right on you. If you got some good game, if you got a good mouthpiece, if you say the right things in the right tone at the right time at the right place, if you go up to her and talk, of course you have to talk to many women, and you have to become good at it. You have to build
well, trial by
reputation,
fire, honestly.
and we'll have videos in the future of you of me embarrassing myself and also doing really
Great.
good out there. So stay tuned for that. Can't
Yeah.
wait for that. But
Don't
let
all by
statistics make you fear life.
Yeah,
You
it's
gotta
all
attack
for you
life.
to learn and for you to to push through the reality. So he's explaining reality to you. You don't go, everything's against me. What do I do? I can't do anything. I'm gonna be a victim. No, you don't
I'm
do
gonna
that.
be a virgin forever. Like, no, you're not,
No.
buddy. If you allow
You
yourself
take-
to be a virgin,
You take the
you'll always-
information that's given to you
Yeah.
and you formulate a plan to move forward to try to get the best results possible.
Right.
Sucks because I'm trying to get a relationship. Well, let me give you some more bad news before we go tell you how to measure short-term and long-term value. We found this chart showing in the attractiveness of how attractive you are in the women category. Like, are you in the 80 percentile, 10 percentile, 90 percentile? How many men are still interested in a woman that's this percentile of attractiveness? So it's a little bit of a crazy chart, but I'm going to put it up and we'll go through this together. So here's what it is. If you look at the chart, you see the
Holy shit. Okay. Let's dissect this here. So female attractiveness percentage, and then male attractiveness. Male attractiveness level females will like versus female attractiveness. So the female attractiveness, if it goes it goes all the way to 100, and men as well. So men with females, what do you call it? The attractive level, if for women, if they're 100, there's no like what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? There's no gap. So that means that like they're always going to get swiped or anything like that. And it slowly dips down. It starts to dip hard when you go past 40%. And then, but it's still very high, as you can see, like men swiping right men will swipe right pretty much on everything except for like a 0.
Yeah, that's why a lot of obese women on Tinder do very well easily, because they're just on there, and guys are like, I need something. It's Saturday night and I don't have anybody else. So you come over here.
Yeah, and
So,
conversely,
a lot of guys are like that.
Conversely, women, the thing only skyrockets for them when they're at probably, what is that, like 55? So a guy's got to be like a 55%, which is like a 5.5 for them to. That's like for like a lot of for a good amount of swipe rights. Like otherwise, it's just down, just 0, almost 0 for almost everything other than that. And then it slowly increases, especially when it gets to the 80, and then it's all the way back up to where I was saying before with 100. Let's continue.
Female advantage to male advantage, right? On the left, it says male attractiveness percentile, right? On the bottom, it says female attractiveness percentile. So let's look at the left. If you are in the top 20%
Just like I
of
said.
male attractiveness, you have only available to you roughly 20% of women that you can compete for. Okay. Now, for women, if you're in the bottom 20% of attractiveness, you still have access to 80% of men that would be interested in you. Of course, if you're in 100%, it's 100%.
Well, also remember that a lot of those guys would just mostly just want to smash. So just remember that for the girls out there. Don't be fooled by likes.
Yeah.
Same thing with your Instagram pictures. Guys are liking your Instagram. Stop it. You're just trying to smash. I'm just selling my makeup, and just like, oh, there's like, no, guys are just trying to smash. Stop. Just stop. Stop liking girls' pictures on Instagram. Thirsty Sims.
Yeah, stop it. Get some.
Okay, you're the best looking guy. You're like a Brad Pitt or you're a Rachel McAdams.
Oh,
Everybody is interested. You're at the 100 percentile, right? So if you look at this, it's quite depressing because if you're in the bottom 20% of men in attractiveness, if you look how small that is, you're only dealing with 2 to 3% of women. That means 1 in every 50 women. That's your pool on who to choose from. So you may watch this and say,
I want to say right now before we continue, you most likely it's probably very rare for you to be one of those people. Most likely. I can't say everybody because there will be those there will really be those few people that are going to be part
You
of
just
that
have to. You
little
have to.
percentile right there.
You just have to take initiative and actually try
Yeah.
to work on your looks. And
But-
if you really care about this kind of stuff, which I
Yeah,
mean, everyone
exactly.
should. I think your appearance is
You should care about
necessary.
it in some sort. You don't need to care about it in like
Dress well,
you know.
be a lower body fat percentage by eating
Exactly.
healthy. You could look at our old videos that we talk about healthy nutrition. You can get your body right, get your hair right, and there's different things you can do. Even your voice and your tonality and the way you talk to
Yeah.
people, without sounding creepy, of course.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, even like women can get highest, the highest percentage of men. The men can get the highest and the lowest if they're high enough. But I mean, if you have good game and you're a low, you could get a high. You never know. But it's just based upon statistics because there's always outliers in statistics. You never really know. That's why you don't take the full statistics as where it's completely concrete. Like there's no outliers. There can
Right.
be outliers, but the only time that you can be the outlier is if you actually put in the work and effort to make it that way. So take it as it is.
Pat, is this supposed to be a Motivation Monday video? There's nothing motivational about this. I totally get it. But you're either going to watch this and you're going to say, screw these stats. I'm going to go have some more chips and cheesecake and quit my job and sit here and play video games all day. Or you're going to say, I better get my act together. So what are women looking for short term and what are women looking for long term? Let's look at the data. Women looking for short term relationship versus long term relationship on 6 different criteria. 1 is looks, 1 is resources, meaning how much money, success you have. 3 is your game.
Yeah, so 1 is the looks. I mean, I think we could all agree that looks matter to some extent. I don't think that.
It matters. It matters literally in the first viewing.
Yeah, but once you
most.
start talking,
Yeah.
you can mess that up immediately, right? So that's
it
why
doesn't matter how nice you look.
it's number 2 in
you
like
ca- if you-
resources. If you first walk up to a woman, they're not gonna know what your resources in. They're just gonna assume who you are as a person by the way you act and the way you talk, which comes into number 3. So don't let resources bother you. Even if you make $1 a year, you can still smash.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know.
As long as you have number 3.
How do I
you're still
know?
good.
Well, I was there.
I was there, and they were there,
And
in
they
his
were
backseat.
there in my backseat of my car. Many times. I've wasted a lot of gas idling in my car in wintertime. At parks. So yeah.
Anyway,
4 is your personality, 5 is your status, and 6 is your age. Looks is 35% of decision-making process. Resources is only 6%.
okay, yeah.
Game is 30%. That's the second most. Personality is 9%. Status is 13%. And then age, whatever, 7%.
Okay, so let's look at this for short-term wise. Okay, so yeah, I believe that this is semi-correct. I feel like game could be a little bit higher.
Game and looks are pretty hand in hand.
Yeah.
But I mean, resources don't really matter because
Exactly,
you
yeah.
could be Bill Gates, get divorced. You could be like any celebrity and still get divorced. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Resources, that's who you are, you stand
That's why I
for, what
like
you're
seeing
able to
it as, like,
tolerate.
That's why I like seeing it as the lowest percentage on this thing. Personality 9%. Yeah, because I mean, like if you're doing a short-term thing, then the personality doesn't fully matter. What really matters is looks and game 100%. And then, the status, resources, and age, like that's just all things that can either help you or won't, but it's nothing that you can really that really is fully necessary to, because I mean, like your age is your age. You can't really do anything about that.
Right.
So, but like, the things that you can really control are looks and game. Those are the things that you can very much control to a T, and those are the highest percentages for short term. So
Right.
those are the things that you should be working on the most.
Now, if they're looking for a long-term relationship, priorities change. When it comes down to looks, it drops from 35% to 15%. Okay. When it comes down to resources, it goes from 6% to 27%. When it comes down to game, it drops from 30 to 7. When it comes down to
I think the reason for that, by the way, the game things, because a lot of guys, they start out strong, but as they get into long-term relationships with girls, they start to get weaker over time. They get fatter. They lose, the charisma they once had. They get really comfortable, and it's not the same. So I think that's why that happens.
Yeah.
Maybe Mike has different thoughts.
I also see this as more of like I want to see what the other percentages are before I make my comment.
Personality, it goes up from 9 to 18. Okay. They know they have to deal with a personality long term. Short term, I don't care how annoying you are. You're handsome. You got game. Long term, man, your personality is annoying. So personality has a lot to do with it. Then you have status, goes from 30% to 23%, and then age goes from 7% to 10%.
Okay, yeah. So let's look at this. Let's take a look at each one. So because you're going for a long-term relationship. This is like dating more than a few months. This is more than just seeing each other and fucking whatever. This is like getting close to that. This is like an actual consistently dating, consistently seeing each other, possibly being engaged and getting married type of thing. This is what the long term is, and this seems very correct in what I've seen, where women will they'll try to either just get whatever they can, right? And that's either, maybe he doesn't have the best looks, but he's got money, he has like a very sustainable job, and stuff like that, and that's what they want. He's got and he's got a decent personality, so they'll go, they'll just claim whatever they can get, and if it's good enough, then they're going to be good for it. And like what women really care about for long-term purposes is, they want to make sure that you have a high sustaining job, because they don't want to be working. Women shouldn't even be working in the first place. Let's be really honest here. Women shouldn't be working in the first place. They should be home, and they should be building a home for the family, if that's what you want. If you want a family.
Yeah, that's a lot of girls secretly don't want to be in the workforce. Yeah. I mean, even like the feminists are like, oh, men ain't shit, but your CEO's a man, and you're making sandwiches at a deli. So,
and yeah, like Andrew was saying about game, with because the game won't matter. Like to them, the game won't matter. Also because that guys will lose their game over time.
It gets weaker, and they allow themselves to become,
because with a game, with a lot of guys that want to use games, sometimes when they get into a long-term relationship, their game does not last that long. Like it only goes so far. They didn't train themselves to have their game go far. So, and a lot of women, if they see that you have resources, if they see that you have status, they see that you have a decent personality and decent looks, the game that you have doesn't matter, because they have what they want, and they'll be perfectly fine with the things that you possess, and the things that you have, and where she can pretty much put herself into, because like she won't again, women are they pretty much are the gatekeepers of sex. So with game, that is something that you do to achieve getting into the bedroom. And so game is down because, and all the other things are up because they care. Oh, what they really care about is making sure that they'll be comfortable, living, and like they'll love you. They will love you to death, but they won't really care if they don't have sex for months on end, because they're comfortable. They have they have a home. They don't have to fully stress about things. They can just do whatever they need to do, and they can keep sex away from the guy all they want because
Yeah, it goes through it all the time. Marriages are a lot of marriages saying fucking can't be me, but some of you
they
out
can
there.
do that, but it's up to you to have the game to be able to get around that. And yeah, so that's what I think. Age is something that's, I mean, I can understand why some women wouldn't want to date certain men at certain ages. But I
It
feel like
depends
it
on the
doesn't.
person,
Yeah,
really.
I feel
Yeah.
like it doesn't really matter, especially if you
As long
have
as
the
you're over
looks
18. As long
gained.
as you're over 18.
Yeah, 100%. Please,
Please.
please, and don't be like Leonardo DiCaprio and like be like super old and trying to date an 18-year-old. That's pretty weird. I mean, listen, if you're like 30 and you're going for like a 19-year-old, I mean, I feel like that's fine. But if you're like over 50 and you're trying to get an 18-year-old, I'm like, bruh,
Yeah, I probably, if I'm
that's
50,
like your daughter right there. What are you doing?
I probably
You know
want
what I
like, I think she should be probably like 21 and over. That's just me. That's just me.
Yeah. Anyway.
So there's a couple different ways you're going to be listening to this. You're going to watch this, you're going to be discouraged. You're going to watch this and saying, okay, maybe I need to change my approach. Let me give you an idea. When I started working at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, and they said, well, the profile of the clients we're looking for is those that are $1 million or higher. Back then it was $500,000 or $250,000, but it was $1 million or higher. That's the clientele you got to be looking for. And I sat there and I'm like, how the hell am I going to meet millionaires? My dad's a cashier at a 99-cent store. I don't have a 4-year degree. I don't have a 2-year degree. I know nothing about money. My parents have never owned a 401k, never owned a stock. We've always rented. I've never lived in a house. You want me to go find $1 million accounts? How the hell am I going to find it? I just got out of the military here. People.
I'm so fat. Brendan.
Shut the fuck up, Brendan.
Get out
It's
of here.
your shirt.
Ads. Damn ads.
Yeah, smack the fat off you.
That's right.
In the military are broke. My friends go to nightclubs. How am I going to find all this money, right? So I could have sat down and said, you know what? That's right. Financial industry is not for me. I'm out. Or I could have sat there and said, how can I get into the market? Who do I need to become to get into the market that I want to become, right? And I made my adjustments. I was 22 years old, 23 years old, just got out of the army. We go to the club. My friends like, Pat, I found this book. It's called The Game. Neil Strauss. Watch these pickup lines I'm going to use with the girls. We go out. First, you treat them this way, you do that, you do this, and then he got the girl. It's like, oh, I'm like, well, our style in the military was similar way. I've just never read the book before, but it was effective. But what were we doing? Who were we getting together with? Short-term relationships, right? So look, some of you are watching this, you're getting one or two reactions. You're discouraged, or you're saying, okay, now at least I know what they're looking for. When you're a businessman and you run a company, you're going to have 3 different types of clients. Low-ticket item products you're selling, 99 cents, $8, $28, $89. You got mid-ticket item, $1,000, $50,000. You got high ticket item. For example, I'm selling a rental apartment at Oakwood Apartments, $4,000 a month. I'm selling a rental apartment, right? Middle one, I'm selling 600,000.
My God. Oh, maybe I'm a brokey. I don't know.
Yeah.
Most likely that is the case.
Listen, the cost of living in New Jersey sucks.
The average person is
and
struggling.
it's only gonna get worse all around the country with
bullshit.
with that new mortgage.
Instead of giving Ukraine money, can you give me money, please?
$1,000 houses. I'm selling multi-million-dollar homes, right? In this example, if you as a man want to have more options and saying your clientele, I want to have a pool of bigger options of women to choose from, who do I need to become to be able to sell $2 million homes? Okay. What language do I need to speak to get the client that's about to sell their $2 million home to look at me and say, this guy can sell this $2 million home? Who do I need to become? What language do I need to have? How do I need to present myself? How much capability, skill set? What do I need to do to increase my market value? This is why a lot of people, 95% of people in sales don't make it, because they get discouraged because they don't want to become the person they need to be to sell those products to the clientele in that market. The same thing goes with this. If you watch this and you said, well, if it's 40% of men reproduce, but 80% of women reproduce, if the options are that, how do I become in the top 20 percentile? And if I'm chasing all these short-term women, the short-term women I'm chasing, they're looking for only physical and they're only looking for game. They're not really valuing personality or for me to be somebody where I am somebody that has status or resources.
That's why we say it's very important. You want to be successful, not for girls and all that. You want to be successful for you.
Yeah.
Your resources and the things you want to accomplish in life, those are going to be accomplished because you have a drive to become successful in life in every area, and you want to be prepared for any financial crisis that will come, especially in America, because you never know what's going to happen next in this damn clown world we're in.
Clown world.
So you want to be successful at all costs, and you don't want women to sabotage that, and they don't do it on purpose. You let women sabotage you by getting in your feelings and not balancing everything out. So you guys make sure that when you become successful, you don't lose your way and you remain who you are, just like Captain America before and after he took the super soldier serum, right? Be that guy before and after your transformation.
Exactly.
He says, I can go fix those things. Now, if you're watching this and saying you can fix yourself physically and get in shape, maybe change your diet, you can be somebody at whatever company you're working at. If you're a person that's got a voice, you become a leader, somebody that's doing well, you got status. If you're somebody that has a personality, you're afraid, you're shy, maybe you show your personality a little bit more. If you want to go watch some of the old Tate videos, there was a part of him that he was shy. If you look at the younger version of him, a lot of the people that end up having big personalities, at one point, they were kind of to themselves, and then boom, they break out of their shell and they say, oh my gosh, I never knew this existed in this guy. You have that, but you got to tap into it. Okay, so now look, obviously a lot of this.
The power is within you, but many of you do not have the motivation or ambition to unlock the power. Guys, you are destroying yourselves by sedation and fear, and that must end. You must actually get off the couch and actually go out to life. You have to go to it.
Yeah.
Same thing with jobs, women, money, currency. It's all one big health, wealth. It's all part of the wave that you must control. You have to become the wave master, right? Control all around you and be that guy. And it takes time, it takes effort, it takes work, but you can do it if you actually want it. If you really want it bad enough, you will develop a routine and use your time wisely to develop skills and become better every single day at every area and every aspect of your life. It is worth it.
The power within. The power within.
The power within, guys. Listen to Mike. Mike knows.
The power within.
If you don't listen to Mike, you will suffer.
Yeah. All right.
This is directed to men. I'm going to talk to women a little bit, and this could also apply to men, but here's what I have to say about this, because some people are like, you don't even know what you're talking about. I dare you to live a day and walk a day in my life and all this other stuff. Totally get it. Here's what I do believe in. There are a lot of men who are bitter towards women. And some of the bitterness from men towards women is, I gave everything for her, and she did this, and she went with that guy, and she left me. Oh.
Yeah, it's the man's fault, though. So, yeah. I want to hear what he says. He's probably going to say the same thing.
Okay, cool. Yep, that happens. And then the other one is, I gave everything to him, and he did this, and he left, and it's all his fault. Okay, no problem. Just so you know, it takes two to make a thing go right, but it also takes sometimes two to make a thing go wrong. You made the choice. I made the choice. Some relationship didn't work. What part of the role did I play in this thing here? And I'll man up and I'll take it. The same with you. One of the ladies that commented, I've known this lady for about 8 or 10 years. And I remember when she chose career over her marriage and her kids. And she says, I'm going to go this route to choose career over her kids. I said, listen, man, I totally get it. Marriage sometimes doesn't work out. I've been married now 13 years, going on 14 years. We take marriage 1 year at a time. It's a very hard thing to do. It is not easy. You can control what you do. Sometimes you can't control what the other side does. And no one ever knows the whole entire story to any marriage. But she specifically said, I'm choosing my career because I want to compete with the men above me in this sector that she was in over my marriage and over my kids. I said, I don't recommend it to do it for that reason. I have to do it. She did. Today, she is so bitter. But who is she bitter at? Her husband? Her kids? Her competitors? The industry? Or her choice? It's pretty bad when you're bitter towards really the choice you made. Nobody put a gun to your head. Do you know how many times
we choose to live our life?
Yeah.
Be self-accountable. And once you realize that, doors will open and you'll discover the path to self-discovery.
Exactly.
And you need to just understand dynamics of life and nature, and things that you do will have effects and consequences. So make sure you choose wisely and really think about the choices that you're going to make for your future, because they will affect you emotionally, physically, and just overall your quality of life will be determined by the actions you take.
Yeah, we control what we do as human beings. We can control the things that we do, the things that happen to us, the things that we do externally in either retaliation or reaction to the things that are going on around us is our choice, and our choices only. And if something goes wrong from a choice that we've made, then it was either our fault or it was a mistake that we made, and it's something that we can learn from, that we can move forward to not make again.
Sure.
It is, or it is something that, succeeded, and we know, okay, this works, let's continue. And if I need to do this again, I know how to handle the situation. These are things that you need to learn in life, and you need to go through trials. You need to go through, certain tests. You need to understand how, the world works. You got to understand how other people work, how women work, how other men work, and the dynamic of just not only just like the working dynamic, but also the dating dynamic. You need to understand everything because something can go wrong, and you don't want to blame other people for the things that that you did because of your choices.
That's right.
Your choices are your own, and your responsibility, and you need to take accountability for anything that goes wrong, because it most likely 9 times out of 10 it actually is your fault for the things that happen, and that's just how it is.
It's correct.
Times I've been annoyed with a decision I've made, and I'm so annoyed with myself. No one knows about it, but I know I made the choice, and I'm bitter towards myself for making a bad choice. That happens to the best of us. So all the stat we're talking about, this is really over younger men and younger women. This topic here that we're talking about. For some of you that are watching that you're a little older and you're frustrated about this, totally get it. But you made the choice. Nobody forced you to do it, for the most part. So if you got value out of this video, agree or disagree, but if you got value out of this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to watch another video,
Yes, I guess
David.
this video was targeting basically dating aspects of men and women, and not really like mostly. It was mostly about dating and stuff and sexual attraction. Not a lot of the fact that men work a lot of very hard jobs, and women don't, like physical wise. Mentally, I'm sure it takes a toll still. That's why a lot of women. So I guess well, Mike, you go first. What's the moral of the story here? Shout out to
Yeah.
sorry, Patrick Bet David. I'm sorry.
Yeah, shout out to
He's
the
a
man.
very smart guy.
Awesome.
He produces a lot of good stuff. He's very intelligent and
Super intelligent.
all love, no hate.
Yes. Anyway, what you were saying is you wanted me to respond. You wanted me to give my thoughts on this. Honestly, the data that was showing was to me it wasn't fully eye opening, because I feel like I've known all on of this in just by me just guessing, just by you saying, "Oh, this." Okay, I feel like it's this percentage. I feel like it's this statistic, and I was close enough. So I'm like, okay, cool. This just confirms to me that I know what I'm saying. I know what I believe, and the stats pretty much back it up for me. So I'm like, okay, cool, this is great. This also shows that, and it reinforces that men need to focus on working hard for themselves,
Right.
and not working hard for for the appeasement of others. Working hard for yourself is the bedrock and the foundation for you. You need to work hard for yourself. You need that, and that could be with money, that can be with your game, that could be with pretty much any of that stuff. It all goes into making sure that you are happy with yourself, and that you are where you want to be, right? That is the bedrock. Everyone else doesn't matter in that sense. When you want to start having it matter to others, you have to do it responsibly, and you can't just try to push it upon people and think that you know I'm doing all this work for you, you need to do this work for me. It doesn't work that way. You need to do your work for yourself first, and then for others. And if they don't appreciate the work that you do, then you need to find someone who does. And that's just how it is. And that goes for jobs, that goes for work, that goes for relationships, that goes for anything in that matter. Is if no one appreciates the work that you do, and you appreciate your own work that you do, then you need to find someone who does. And if that's what you want, that's what you do.
No, Mike pretty much said my thoughts. Yeah, basically, and a lot of girls out there are suffering when they're in the workforce as well. So.
Yeah, I feel honestly, I'm gonna say this. I 100% feel bad for women who need to that work, and especially that work high executive jobs, high stress level jobs, because I feel like they shouldn't be. I don't
But
want
the
to
economy
say,
is really tough, so I
yeah,
understand
I
why.
understand why. I understand why they do it, and I feel like that they shouldn't be in there, not because that they're women, but
This is very
because
emotional.
yeah, but because I feel like women just don't belong there. Like biologically, they don't belong there. Like people, like there are women that can go in there and they can do it, and I'm like, yes, go for it. You slay, queen. You slay. Okay, you do that. But for
Yeah.
a lot of the women, they really they'd be better focused on smaller things. I would say like waitressing jobs, teaching jobs, if they want to stay in the workforce. If they don't,
Like
house,
especially like hospitals and taking care of people. You know,
yeah,
they're very
nurses,
loving
stuff
and
like
giving
that.
and all that.
Yeah, I feel like those jobs are like the best jobs that they can use like with for their from a biological standpoint. You know, they're nurturing, they're caring. That those types of jobs fit that perfectly. That's what women are best for. And I mean, women can do the other jobs too, like I was saying. Like, it doesn't mean that they shouldn't do, those higher stress jobs. They can do it if they want, but I feel like that they're best suited if they want to stay in the workforce for those types of jobs. And if they don't want to stay in the workforce at all, a a housewife, I would like to say, or a housewoman thing, whatever, where
Whatever you want to
they
call
take
it.
care of the house. They ensure that everything is um the house was run smoothly, and then when the man comes home, then he goes and does his thing, and everyone lives happily ever after.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it's just that's the world we live in. The economy is pretty tough right now, so everybody, the men,
Everyone's suffering.
we're putting women in the workforce, and it's all part of the plan, the big plan. But we work with what we can. But it really depends on who you are and what you want to do in life. If you really want to work, and all that. A lot of people just don't. You know, but guys, we gotta, for men, we gotta really get out there and be accomplishing our goals and having this ambition. 'Cause a lot of guys in today's society, they just don't have ambition, and they're not going out there and they're not slaying the day. They're just jerking off to porn on Netflix and hating themselves. So
Sad.
we do not preach that.
We don't do
So
that here.
yeah, we don't do that here. So guys, let us know what you think about this topic in the comment section below, and make sure you give the video a like when you can, and subscribe to the channel if you want more content. And you can donate to the Cash App link in the description below. Money goes towards the funds for this channel and supports the channel and all that. So with that said, we're going to see you guys in the next video.